In studio this morning, we have our Woman of the Week, Woman of Worth, producer, director. Together with that, she is a television personality and author. Such an amazing individual. I know her personally and love her dearly. So it's an honor.
I love you too.
Oh,
good morning,
good
Michelle.
morning.
Good morning, 107.7 Music for Life.
Nice. Lisa Wickham. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Wow. You know, one thing that I think is so amazing about everything that you've done, you know, you started at 6 years of age. It's Ricky Tiki Party Time. What was it like growing up in front of an audience?
Oh, my goodness. Well, you had to be a good child. You know, I just felt, I think I felt the responsibility to be a role model. Mm-hmm. I took it so seriously. So it comes with the responsibility that everyone looks to you to provide them with that light, you know, with that direction, with that inspiration. And I really took it seriously. So I didn't see it as a burden. I didn't see it as, don't look at me for this, because I genuinely felt that was my responsibility.
I understand. You felt like it was your responsibility. But at 6 years of age, how did you get discovered?
Auntie German, who is somewhere in Miami now, I believe.
Right.
She had Ricky Tiki running.
Yes.
Ian, a lot of people think it was Ian Ali, but he was actually doing Papi P on the show at the time.
Okay.
He became the host after. So, so she... I used to go and read my poems, my poetry. I was writing poetry. Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty birds in the trees. Smile for me, please, or sing for me, please.
Yes.
Right? And then the real discovery, only Davis, when I was about 13, offered me the Spelling Bee segment.
Okay.
To host on a weekly basis.
Yes.
And then from that, it was just from one series to the next, you know?
Yeah.
Party Time and Dateline and...
Amazing.
E-Zone and the morning show.
Yeah. But as you mentioned when we started, you mentioned that you always felt the responsibility that you had being a role model, being a light for others. But how do you achieve that light within you?
Yeah.
Because you must have it within to be able to give it to others.
Yeah. I don't know if at 6 I knew I was a light.
But as you grew, how did you grow into that?
Well, I think it's the people you have around you, like my mother and the school. And I was thinking the other day, someone was saying, how come you're so positive and all of that? And that doesn't mean I'm always like this, right?
Yes.
But I think it's this phase that I know myself to be up to maybe 5-6 years ago.
Right.
And then obviously you go through all your turmoil and all of that. And then I told myself I need to get back to that space. But I think, you know, it's just the environment. So church, school, home. You know, school, holy name, Form 1. Who made you? God made you. You're special. I love myself. You know, that sort of affirmation. Right.
Yes.
A lot of affirmation in your life through your parents, through your parish priest, Father Giro. Oh my goodness. You know, lots and lots of affirmation.
Right.
I think is important. And then you grow into it. And then as people, and then you begin to affirm yourself. So at some point, others affirm you, like your parents and your teachers and so on. And fans, right? But then you have to, or I had to begin to affirm myself.
Yes.
To take ownership of my space.
Right.
Right? And that's where the light becomes important, you know? Yeah.
Taking ownership of your space.
So speaking of light, you know, I'm driving here and you're describing this person and I'm like, oh my goodness, did I really agree to do this? Why? But you didn't say Mother of Gabriel Branch. You know, that is what I wear
being
now.
A mother.
Yeah. And Gabby is actually the person that the president referred to as a light that we should look to. And, you know, that for me is probably, if someone asked me now, what's your most significant achievement? What's your most...
Being a mommy.
Well, being a mommy. But my greatest memory is that moment when the president, who I've never met.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sitting there listening to her speech and she says... recognize to Gabriel Branch, and I literally lost it. Right?
I saw that Instagram post and I was like, wow. But, you know, as you spoke about positive affirmations and it's who you have around you. As a mother, what do you think was so important for you to pour into your daughter? Yeah. So she
my mother. And I'm serious because, you know, with my lifestyle, I really had to rely on my mother, friend, well, not so much friend, but aunties, right?
Yes.
And I guess myself too, in terms of my convictions, what I believe in, you know. So maybe we didn't get to do the traditional things that some mothers do, and I admire that they can do that.
Yes.
But it was important when I drop her to school on mornings that we had no radio in the car, for example. So I would not have heard you, you know, no radio. But we spoke, we sang.
Yes.
I listened to her talk about Percy Jackson and then quiz me about Percy Jackson, what she read.
Right.
You know, so that level of conversation was important, and always being there for her activities. So I couldn't take her to school to practice because she's in everything. So I couldn't take her to Auntie Noble and Auntie Bernadette. Mommy did that.
Yes.
But I made sure I was there even if I had to fly back in for the performance, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the time that you had, you made the most of every moment that you had.
Correct.
For example, you put out any outer noise and ensure that you all had no disturbance in terms of the interactions that you would have.
So that she understood and still understands that she is a priority.
Right.
Right?
Yes. And as you mentioned, your convictions, your belief, what do you think is something so important in terms of parents saying to their children? What do you think is something that would lift a child up and let them have that affirmation going within?
I love you.
I love you. Dr. Emoto, you looked at this study.
No.
You have to see it, Dr. Emoto. You know, he realized that there were certain words that people would use. Yeah. And he did a study with water. So he said, I love you to one bit of water. He said, thank you to another bit. And to another bit, he used a negative connotation. Yeah. But what you saw in the images in which he spoke those positive words, it was amazing.
Oh, I'm going to look for that.
You need to.
Emoto.
Dr. Emoto. So I love you.
I love you.
A very powerful phrase.
Know, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Keep going. You're great. But at the same time, not too much that you make the child believe that they are better than everyone else. So balanced with that is to whom much is given, much is expected. So, you know.
Balance. Yeah. I love that. But there's something that you're doing in which you're looking for a balanced student. You're looking for a student that is not only great academically, but also a student that is great when it comes to extracurricular activities as well. So there's an award, the annual Lisa Wickham Award for Outstanding Performance in Academics and Extracurricular Activities, St. Dominic's RC Mover.
Yes.
This has been done since 2007.
Correct, yes.
But it's never something that was
public. Because I just felt that this was something I wanted to do, and it wasn't about getting accolades. It really was about inspiring the children who went to my primary school, and I was in everything, right?
Yes,
academics and everything, even Boy Scouts. Not girl guys.
You and the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts, the only girl.
How come?
Because I wanted to be, you know, and Tora Bess, who is well known in she was our Akela at the time, and she always tells the story that no matter how many times I tell this child,
she can't be in Boy Scouts.
And eventually she gave up, so I was in Boy Scouts.
So persistence is key.
You're good, you know, Michelle. So I said, you know what? I wanted to do this as something that would inspire. Yeah. So every year, for the past 10 years, the school would choose 5 students who they believe deserving of the award, and then I'd go in on a Saturday, meet with them, you know, interview them. It's very interesting chatting with these young people. Right. And then I'd do a spontaneous essay, 2 essays that they have to write on the spot. Yes. And then I'd choose the winner. We have a nice ceremony, and everyone gets certificates, and then the winner gets a massive trophy and a cash award, and they get hampers, and there's a big shield that goes up in the office, which is important so that the other children, right, can go in and see and say, I want to be that person. Yes. And it helps them, it motivates them. And now I understand children from standard 3, standard 2, they start gearing towards wanting to win that award. And in order to win, you have to perform academically. You also have to be in extracurricular activities. So it's sort of like an inspiration.
That balance you spoke about.
I always remember when we were shooting Home Again, right? You remember Home Again, right?
Of course.
With Tatiana and so on.
Yes.
I said I wanted to shoot in Mova. So we actually shot opposite the Anglican school there. There's a bar there, and we shot in that. So we took over, you know, it was a huge film. So we took over, big footprint, right? Big cameras and all of that. So this little boy came up, and I thought he was fascinated by the fact that, you know, movie trailers, boom, boom, boom. So he went up, he was chatting with our big cameras. I thought that's what he was saying. So as I walked up, he said, "Oh, Miss Wickham, I want to see you." So I'm like, okay. And he said, "You have the Achievement Award." And I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm in standard 3, but I'm coming to win that award." He did.
That is amazing.
Right? Like 2 years later, he was the winner. And I didn't even remember until after a teacher said, "That's the little boy who approached you 2 years ago."
Wow.
Yeah?
But you know what is amazing? We learn so much from our youth, because what I get from that is you must always have something to look forward to, something that you want to achieve.
Goals.
Yeah. Goals. So important.
Yes.
Yeah. But speaking about goals, what's next for Lisa Wickham? You're an author, you're a producer, director. So much is always happening. You're traveling the world. SOKAFIT.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Listen, SOKAFIT is so amazing.
I have tried.
You have?
I looked at the TV.
When we did it for OJFIT or on
even
television?
Even before. I saw it on television some years ago. And LaShawn is fantastic.
Absolutely. We waited on her, So we came, Michelle and Felix and I, we came up with this, because we're filmmakers, right?
Yes.
So we came up with this in 2007. Sheldon ran him out. Lisa, we need to be in fitness, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So I said, okay, let's do something where we combine soca music and dance, because... There's a because.
Because
in aerobics, I would be at the back of the class whining.
That's all I could do. That's the only part I could get.
And they're just like, "No, you can't be doing that. That's not it." I'm like, "Why?"
Yes.
So I always felt that I felt like that's what I want to do.
Right.
And then I tried other types of dance fitness models, and at the time it was more aerobics than
wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening. So I said, let's do this. So we did it as a TV show. I'm thinking, who could be this host? Because obviously it can't be me, right? I could do the class, but I can't be in front of the class.
I gotcha.
So we said, wait, LaShawn, I had just done the Cot Music Awards.
Yes.
With LaShawn, where I brought LaShawn and Marshall together for that big opening.
Wow.
And then after that, LaShawn started to tour with Marshall, right?
Yes.
So she had the experience of being on stage, and then she launched her dance company, L.
Yes.
So we said, LaShawn, and she's like, yes, I want to do it.
Awesome.
And she drops on us, I'm going to the Tisch School of Dance, New York University, to do a master's in finance. And we're like, okay, we'll wait for you. Because you're worth it. You're worth it. Right? So we waited. And that's why it came out so many years after, because LaShawn came back, there were the movies, Home Again, Girlfriend's Getaway, lots of stuff happening. And then in 2015, I said, Sheldon, we need to do this now, because other things are popping up, similar things, and we need to do this now.
So good things you have to wait for.
Sometimes. But then you have to have the right timing, because then it can pass you, right?
I gotcha. Timing is everything.
Yeah. So we launched it on television 2016.
Right.
And now we're in Australia, Canada, Martinique, Guadeloupe. And I just came back from South Africa, where we trained 22 coaches.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was looking at the videos on Instagram as well. You can follow Lisa on Instagram at Lisa V. Wickham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is amazing about that, how well do you think our culture was received? Tell us about how they received.
In South Africa, that was so fascinating, because they didn't know where Trinidad and Tobago was. They didn't
really?
They didn't even know where the Caribbean was.
Yes.
Because it's a completely different universe on that side. For some people. Some people know. But generally, if you're going into the communities and so, they don't, right?
Yes.
And so we had to, part of our training is we do, where's Trinidad and Tobago, our culture, what is carnival, the history of soca music, the history of carnival, all that is part of the training,
so
right?
it's not just
run up
learning
on
how
stage
to
and wine. No.
Yeah. It's not just
no.
the SOKAFIT, it's the SOKAFIT, and SOKAFIT is representing Trinidad and Tobago.
As a matter of fact, our moves, we have over 100 moves, and the moves are named for parts of Trinidad. So we have the Savannah Wine, the Sando, the Buko Bongs, the Plymouth Pushback, the Maracas Ripple. So it's also part of promoting Trinidad and Tobago as the originator of this culture, this music.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the coaches also are trained in physiology, anatomy. We have Marissa Gibson-Bailey, who's a sports scientist, exercise physiologist. She works for them.
Amazing.
So, and then they have to do a written exam and a practical exam. So, it's a full system, team of doctors and...
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're busy. But tell us as well about your book. In closing, let's find out more about your book.
Well, Words of Inspiration, on a positive note, that was really written to provide healing for myself. Right? Yes.
How so?
Because, as I mentioned, a few years ago, I was going through my own... Because everybody goes through stuff.
Yeah.
People say, how are you smiling all the time?
And those are the words
that I use
to pull you out.
Correct. And I realized, it was inspiring because at the time I was just posting it. And I realized people were responding to it and decided, let me pull this together in a book. And now people tell me they still use the book. They use it on a daily basis.
And in using it on a daily basis, what are just some brief quotes from it?
Oh my gosh, I don't have it. I don't have it. No,
just a line. Sometimes somebody might approach you and say, this line.
Yeah. I think one, I might be paraphrasing here, but one that really resonates with me and I use is things only get meaning when you attach meaning to it. Something to that effect.
Things only get meaning when you attach meaning to it.
Meaning that if someone says something horrible to you and you attach the meaning of I'm hurt, I'm offended to that, then you internalize that and that's what it becomes.
Right.
But if you decide it means nothing, then life goes on.
So the only problem is not the problem. The problem is our thinking.
That's another control. When you take control of your mind, which is probably the hardest thing to take control of, then life becomes a different space. Stuff like that, So, yeah.
So now it's like, for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for joining us in studio.
You are so welcome.
And things only have meaning when you attach meaning to it. So we're going to use that to power us up throughout the rest of the morning. So thank you so very much for being our
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
Lisa Wickham, our Woman of Worth, Woman of the Week, our Wow here on 107.7. And we have some chocolates for you, courtesy Cocoa Bell.
Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Mine too. No, you don't know. You don't understand the love.
One of my favorite. One of my favorite. Cocoa Bell. Can I say Cocoa Republic?
Cocoa Bell. Cocoa Bell.
I get it.
But I love that tamarind chocolate.
Okay.
You have to try that one. The mango.
I will try it.
The sorrel. The punch creme. Try all. Enjoy it. Punch creme chocolate.
God, punch creme chocolate.
Yes.
I really have to SOKAFIT later.
Thank you so much for joining us in studio and have a fantastic day. It only has meaning if you attach meaning to it. So say to this day, it shall be great, and that it will be.
It will be. I promise you.